as Virat Kohli, India's Virat Kohli, continues with what many are saying is an insipid form with the bat. The pressure on him has been growing. Now, with the likes of Deepak Hooda impressing in Kohli's place when the former India captain has been on the test team or rested from the side, the calls to replace him with younger options have been growing. Experts including World Cup winning captain Kapil Dev, the former England skipper Michael Vaughan, they've all spoken out about Kohli's prolonged lean patch. The former India captain Kapil Dev recently commented on the matter, saying that he should be dropped if he can't put in good performances despite being an established player. Now, the star batter currently looks like a pale shadow of his former self because, he scored his last international 100 almost 3 years ago, and there are growing calls for Kohli's ouster from the T20 side, and all eyes are on Rahul Dravid for more on this matter. Will there be a longer rope given to the batter whose batting class is unquestionable?
So many players keep on thinking that Virat should be dropped from the team, but as being a ex-selector or being a cricketer, I never think like that Virat Kohli, such a player like what Virat Kohli have a standards, he won't be dropped so easily. Yeah, I can understand he's not in the good of his forms, he's struggling with his form, but that doesn't mean he's not a good player or he can't get into the form. Why not we look at the brightest side, or we look after the best side, and what happens if we start coming back in the form? We should have to look at the positive way. If we start getting hundreds, we start getting 50s, 60s or big 100, what happened then? Then India is the most favorable team for the World Cup. So we have to look at this way also.
So how do we look at this as India gears up for their only 50 over assignment before the World T20 in Australia? The former skipper Virat Kohli is enduring a nightmarish batting slump. Should he stay or should he go? Do we pick form over reputation? A very hard choice, and I do not envy Karthik Iyer, cricket expert, and Nikhil Sharma, sports commentator, who have agreed to join us on this debate. And we're raising this question because this seems to be the word out on the street. That's all everybody seems to be talking about. And the reality is the pressure is on our cricket management, right, to find the perfect combination for this year's T20 showpiece event. And in the middle of that, now you have the former England captain Michael Vaughan, perhaps, addressing the elephant in the room that Virat Kohli's lean patch is a concern right now. And he believes that new players, younger players, can take his place. Karthik Iyer, where do you stand on this?
Unfortunately, I don't know. I probably choose the fence in this matter because
no, you can't do that on the show.
Well, if you look at the numbers, then yes, definitely Virat Kohli does not deserve a place in the Indian side. But if you look at what Virat Kohli has done over the years, you always back him to come back to form. And the other thing is, everyone in this Indian unit is more or less a bit inexperienced when it comes to massive tournaments like the World Cup and all. And if you're going to go into the World Cup, which is just 3 months from now, without Virat Kohli, it is going to be a big call. So I would say 60-40 Virat Kohli should be there in the team, at least for the 2022 T20 World Cup.
So you're saying experience matters. I think this is something, people in all sorts of careers are battling with. But, it's no joking matter, right? Because the Australian opener, Usman Khawaja, has come up with a hilarious response to Kapil Dev. He's encouraging them. They're saying, yes, India, go for it, drop him. And that may be what, could this actually backfire? Nikhil Sharma?
Well, it's Karthik says it's 60-40. I said it's 100-0. Virat Kohli is your most seasoned, player. He has an average of 50 plus in T20s, 150 plus strike rate. You're talking about a guy who can go to Australia, be very, very confident, give it back to the Aussies. His prime as far as his career is concerned has come in Australia. So we're talking about a guy, a few failures here and there. Doesn't mean, we bench him. Yes, he could be rested in the run-up to the World Cup. It's just 2 games. We're talking about just a couple of games that, as far as this, T20s are concerned, he looked and fine nick as far as the Trent Bridge T20 was concerned. But, this happens to the best of the best. I'm sure Michael Vaughan wants him out. Nobody wants to be facing a very aggressive Virat Kohli in the World Cup. So for the others, it's good. But as far as India is concerned, not going to the World Cup with inexperienced players. Definitely not.
It's just a game, says Nikhil Sharma. So let me play devil's advocate and throw this back at you. Venkatesh Prasad says this is a game, and that even the likes of Saurav Ganguly, Anil Kumble, Virendra Sehwag, they've been dropped at times when they were going through a bad patch or a woeful form. So you can't just be putting a player in based on their reputation. And, you know, so, I mean, maybe easier for Virat Kohli also if that decision is taken out of his hand, because there's so much pressure on him, right? Every time he goes out. Nikhil Sharma?
Well, you know, there is pressure. If you play for the India national cricket team, the pressure is always going to be there. Does it bother Virat Kohli a lot? Yes, I think off late, I do believe he's kind of taken this pressure onto himself. But I'll always back him and the quality that he has, that he can always come up with the goods when required as far as the World Cup is concerned. Also, you know, two wrongs don't make a right. I think we should have backed all those greats that we are talking about. Had we given them a slightly longer rope, I'm fairly sure that that they would have come good. But Indian cricket is also ruthless. But in the run-up to the World Cup, no, I think it'll be too harsh a step to take away your most seasoned player. And I'm sure Rahul Dravid and Rohit Sharma know exactly whom to back. And I have no doubt that Virat will continue to serve.
So both of you are in agreement
cricket.
that when you're playing a big tournament, you need big match players, that you need players with experience.
Yes.
You can't have everybody who's really young and, you know, full of energy, but very young. But Kartik Iyer, let me ask you, what is the role of the press in all of this, right? Because you have the former England spinner Graham Swan who had given out advice to Indian fans, saying that, I think what was interesting what he said was that if we had a player like him, if he was English and I was in the English media, I would be saying, listen, let's ease up on him, let's ease up on him. We need to take the pressure off the star asset so that he performs. Is there a responsibility and a role that we're all playing in this?
100%, absolutely. And as you mentioned about Graham Swan's those two sentences, he also said a couple of more sentences that if you don't want Virat Kohli, if you don't like Virat Kohli, go ahead, build pressure on him, get him out of the side. But if you really value Virat Kohli for all that he has done for India over all these years, well, you save him. I mean, definitely we in the media have got our own responsibility. If we are responsible for building confidence in a player, we could be equally responsible for you know, getting the confidence down in a player as well. So if Virat Kohli had to be left out from the Indian cricket team, this decision should have been taken when he decided to step down from the limited overs captaincy. That was a year ago. Now with 2 months to the World Cup, I think it's too late to just take a call on Virat Kohli just because the other youngsters are performing. Yes, Virat Kohli is not getting the runs as you would like to, and also the matches in which he's getting out has been too rash. But you give him a bit of time, as they say, when the big moment comes, the great guns fire. So we do back Virat Kohli to fire, especially in one of his favorite hunting grounds in Australia.
All right. Thank you so much, Kartik Iyer, Nikhil Sharma, for joining us on this discussion. You know, we have that 2022 T20 World Cup in Australia set to kick off just in a few months. I think it starts in October, and we're all certainly hoping that Kohli can find his form sooner rather than later. So nobody has to take these tough decisions. But thank you for joining us. Perhaps I'm simplifying that it there, but I think that's the way everyone feels.